Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to 2019 MIT Startup Showcase Silicon Valley. My name is Dong-Soo Kim. I'm the CEO of LG Technology Ventures. Unfortunately, I did not attend MIT. I went to a small school in Southern California that some people call it MIT of the West. While I don't necessarily agree with that statement, I had the honor of working with many colleagues, friends, and also entrepreneurs. They were alumni of MIT, so over the years I've grown a sense of affinity to the school and also tremendous respect for its people. So needless to say, I'm very, very excited that we are hosting this event today. At this age of fifth industrial revolution, as some people call fourth, is it fourth? I don't know. But collaboration between universities, startups, and big companies are becoming increasingly more and more important. And some say it's really a key to survival. So I'm very excited that we will not only learn about all these interesting, exciting startups that we'll present today, but also have a chance to discuss how a large multinational conglomerate like LG can work with startups. So again, welcome. We have, in addition to the delegation from MIT and startups, we also have a few executives from LG who flew in from Korea for this event. Also, next door at the overflow room, we have students from LG MBA Academy program that they are all very eager to learn and meet with each one of you. And some of them actually might even be interested in starting their own companies. So please say hello when you see them during break and networking session. Otherwise, again, thank you for coming, and I'm really looking forward to a great day.
Hello, my name's John Roberts, and I'm coming to you from MIT. I did go to MIT. What is the MIT of the West? Is that Stanford or is it Berkeley? Caltech! Oh, geez, sorry. There are so many MITs in the West, I guess. I consider, in terms of chemistry and chemical engineering, Berkeley is the sister school of MIT, so you never know. Yeah, so I'm here to give you a little bit of a background, just quickly to open things up on what MIT is in terms of collaborating with large companies, and I'll pass things over to Rebecca to talk a little bit more about the startup community. So let me just get started on the first slide here, which is a movie. This is taken from the famous dome with a drone, and it's hovering over the most innovative square mile in the world, which is mostly behind you to the left. It's a destination for global innovation leaders. It's an attractor of talent and ideas. And here we are looking at some of the places. A place where companies create the future, and they come to do that. There's a culture of 24/7 idea exchange. And really, in a nutshell, this is what MIT and Kendall Square is really all about. It wasn't always that way. So this is a picture in 1981. And I'll tell you that I was a graduate student here starting in 1986. And I lived in this building right here. And that building now is surrounded by quite a lovely area. But at the time, it was all parking lots and warehouses that were in disrepair. And part of the reason why it was in disrepair is because in the 60s it was being allowed to kind of fall apart in anticipation of NASA building its research center there. But NASA ended up building its research center in Texas, and so there was all of this land, which MIT largely invested in and some other private investors invested in. And what happened over the next 20 years or so, 20 or 30 years, was it became a really burgeoning area where there are much larger buildings than the flat warehouses there used to be. Almost no parking lot space, but I'll get to that. There's a little bit left over as of 2016. This is a green space that's going to remain until the economic pressures probably supersede the idea that it should be. So let me just orient you a little bit here. This here is maybe a third of what Kendall Square. It's not a very large area, actually, but just in this area, all of these companies exist. So sometimes people compare the Bay Area to Kendall Square, but Kendall Square is like take the Bay Area in some ways and contract it all down into a walkable space. Yeah, there are a lot of companies that are on the periphery as well, but the overall space is much, much smaller. Over here is where sort of the end of MIT campus is, and we're smack in the middle of that interface right up against the river. That's our corporate relations office. So I'm going to say a few more words about MIT ILP, which is the Industrial Liaison Program, of which LG is a member. I won't say very much about Startup Exchange, because Rebecca will be speaking to that afterwards. But first of all, where does the funding come from MIT, and why is that a little bit interesting? So a number of the places that funding for MIT comes from, you would totally expect: the Department of Defense, the National Science Foundation, and so on, foundations that are nonprofit. But the real big one on here in terms of being an outlier for MIT, and one of the things that makes MIT unique, is this 23% of the overall funding, at least in fiscal year 2019, is very, very large. It is the largest for any school where you subtract out a medical school, which has millions and millions of dollars for clinical trials in some schools. It is the largest percentage of funding coming into a university from industry. And that has both some repercussions and it has some causes. So MIT Discovery is focused on practical impact and commercial values. That's both an origin and a cause. There is this culture for doing something that has some kind of impact to businesses. There's an MIT Energy Initiative, which is a cross-functional initiative. There's a Digital World Initiative, a Global Environment and Sustainability Initiative. There's a brand new Schwarzman College of Computing with its flagship program, Quest for Intelligence, which is a marriage between brain and cognitive sciences and computer science, and as they come together, how one can inform the other and vice versa. There's an innovation initiative studying innovation itself and figuring out ways that it can be accelerated to some degree. There is a Future of Work initiative, and there is an MIT.nano. This is just some examples. Just to elaborate a little bit, MIT.nano is a facility now. Before it was a concept, but now it's quite a large facility that was just recently built that brings together all sorts of research that was already ongoing at MIT in nanotechnology, and enhancing the ability to get that research done and enhancing the ability to collaborate with industry. So these are just some examples of really big picture initiatives that exist at MIT with an intent to have impact. MIT's Industrial Liaison Program is industry's chief gateway to MIT, particularly for companies that have not done a lot of academic research, or in particular academic research at MIT. Our program is extremely important for getting things started, but also for companies that already have established relationships with MIT, keeping those relationships going and forming new ones. You have to understand that the turnover in an academic institution is generally 8 to 10% of the faculty every single year turns over. So there are plenty of new people coming up the ranks that are of interest. So members of the Industrial Liaison Program, they build and manage productive partnerships at MIT through our program. Members benefit from programs that are customized to their specific needs. Members are 260 of the world's leading companies. So typically these are companies with more than $1 billion in annual revenue, most of the time quite a bit more than that, that have a research component where there's a lot of investment in research. And then finally, members, ILP members, they constitute 26% of MIT, 26% of them sponsor MIT research at any given time, and 49% of all corporate funding in some way is connected to our office. Just highlighting one of the services that we provide is the executive briefing services. It is a focused forum for company decision makers and key MIT faculty. This is a setting where an executive and that executive team goes to MIT. They want to have discussions about a topic that's of strategic importance, and they want to be stimulated by things that are maybe central, but not the way that they've been thinking, but also peripheral to the types of things that they've been thinking about. A way to stimulate thinking and coming up with some new approaches. We found that this service contributes to strategic planning at companies and new business development. It's used to examine emerging and disruptive research and technology and to position companies for how they can anticipate or even engage with it. They're an opportunity to learn of new management approaches to corporate issues and to enhance engagement with key business clients at MIT. Okay, so just back to Kendall Square, and to orient you, that little corner of MIT we were looking at is right over here. It's where most of the research happens. Our offices are right there. So what you're looking at here are some areas that are developed by MIT that are not actually, so the yellow is the MIT investment properties, the blue is the actual official campus. And this is mostly things that have happened in the past over the last probably 50 or 60 years. And moving forward, there are some very big projects that are coming. Again, these are our offices right here. And this is that corner of campus. So still in 2016, there was some space, some parking lots that were on campus. And from those, there was an opportunity to build about 1.8 million square feet. So this is the type of development that MIT itself is doing. And a couple of these, maybe 3 of these buildings are almost complete at this point. Phase 2 is going to be developing an area that actually there is one government building that was built. I don't know whether it was connected to the anticipation of NASA taking over there, but there's 14 acres that has one building on it. And in the future, it is going to have a cluster of buildings. So all of this building is going to be a combination of housing, research areas, and collaboration spaces. So that's all I wanted to say for now, and I believe it's Rebecca that will be taking over from here. So I look forward to a great day today, and I'm sure we're going to have some terrific discussions.